Hi there, top music teachers. In today's quick win, I want to give you some quick productivity tips because we all have way too much to do. We all have task lists that are way too long and we never have enough time to do everything that we want to do in life. So I want to give you a couple of quick strategies that may help you with that. The first one, I just want to tell you a really quick story. It's one that I found online. It's to do with Warren Buffett, who of course is one of the most incredible investors and business owners, $50 billion to his name, apparently, something like that. Anyway, the story goes that he was talking to and giving some advice to a guy called Mike Flint. And so what Warren Buffett did in order to help Mike get his task list sorted was he said, okay, Mike, write down your top 25 career goals, or the most important things that you've got to do. So he wrote them down. So top 25. And then Warren Buffett said, all right, now I want you to choose out of those ones the top 5. List and circle the top 5 goals. So out of this list of 25, we pick the top 5. And so at this point, Mike had 2 lists. The 5 items he circled were list A, and the 20 items he hadn't circled were list B. So, and this is what he said, I'll quote now. Flynn confirmed that he would start working on his top 5 goals right away. And that's when Warren Buffett asked him about the second list. And what about the ones you didn't circle? Flynn replied, well, the top 5 are my primary focus, but the other 20 come in a close second. They are still important, so I'll work on those intermittently as I see fit. They're not as urgent, but I still plan to give them a dedicated effort. To which Buffett replied, no, you've got it all wrong, Mike. Everything you didn't circle just became your avoid at all cost list. No matter what, these things get no attention from you until you've succeeded with your top 5. And I think this is a great little strategy to keep in mind as we come to plan what we're going to be doing in our teaching and our business. So choosing your top 5 and ignoring everything else is a great strategy. Another one that Michael Hyatt preaches is the rule of 3s, I guess. 3s just seem to work really well in just about all aspects of life. So he has a weekly 3 main goals that he wants to do in the week, and then he has a daily 3. And I like the idea of particularly the daily 3. I certainly, this week I had a weekly 3. One of them was to record these quick win videos, so I'm glad I've almost done these and I've been able to check off that goal. But having 3 goals, just 3 for the week, and then 3 each day that you really have to focus on, I think can really move the needle, particularly when you're struggling to work out what is important and what you've got to get done. Now, on to my last tip, and that is to use something called the Eisenhower Matrix. Now, if you haven't come across this before, don't get freaked out. It's really, really easy to understand and use. Because we have so many things in our task lists, it's really hard to know what to work on first, what to put in your top 5 or what to put in your daily 3. So one strategy that I use quite regularly is to use a matrix. So here's step 1. Before you get to the matrix, you need to write out your list of things that you have to do. Now, if you're like me, you've got a permanent task list on your computer or on post-it notes or whatever it is. So make a list of all the things that you need to do. Get them out of your head and onto paper. That's step 1. Step 2 is we're going to draw a matrix, 2 axes. And the 2 axes are going to be showing you 2 different things, and we're going to be comparing them. The top axis is importance, or how important something is. The other axis is urgency. How urgent actually is the thing that you're needing to do? So on this list. What Eisenhower said, which I thought was great, he says, what is important is seldom urgent, and what is urgent is seldom important. And so that's the way he kind of defines what really we should be working on, or actually can things wait. So what do you do now? Well, now what you need to do is work out where in the quadrants your tasks lie. So for each of these, put them in a place on the matrix. So let's say the importance and urgency of your scheduling your next term's lessons. Well, is very important. And if you're running out of time, that's very urgent. So maybe your scheduling goes up here. But maybe working on your studio website, that is definitely important, but maybe not urgent right now. So maybe that's over here in this quadrant. And you can move it, how important and how urgent, you can move it along in this space. It's not just use that quadrant. What about something that you should do or you feel you should do but really isn't particularly important? Well, maybe there's something that's urgent but it's not that important. Maybe it could go down here. I can't think of anything exactly off the top of my head. And then likewise, is there anything that's on this list that actually is not urgent and really isn't important either? Well, that's going to go down here. So once you've got that, you've got your 4 quadrants. This is your do quadrant. These are the things that you need to prioritize. And prioritize the things that are furthest in this corner if you've got more than 3 up here for, let's say, the week. So that is your do quadrant. This one over here is your decide. So decide what you need to do out of those things. Work out what's most pressing and what's most important. Over here, we've got it's a bit of a funny one. It's actually a don't do, but also a delegate. So these might be tasks that you could potentially give to an online virtual assistant or an admin person or another teacher in your studio if you've hired some other teachers, someone else to help you. This isn't going to move the needle very far for your business, these things here. So if you can get someone else to help you with them, that's going to be a win for you. And this column is the delete column. If things are neither important nor urgent, then they're probably deletable. So have a real think. If you've got things in here, have a real think if you actually need to have them on your list at all, or whether you can simply get rid of them. So this matrix is a great way to decide the importance and urgency of things that you need to do and that are on your task list that we started with up here. So I'll highly recommend trying it out. As I say, I do it probably every month to work out my main sort of focus for the next month ahead. But you can do it more often. You could do it weekly as you set up your goals for the week. The other two things, the other main one is just to work on a few things at once. So don't try and overwhelm yourself. Give yourself, okay, I'm just going to work on 3 things this week. And if I check them off, I'm going to be really, really satisfied, because unfortunately, we all have massive task lists. There is never enough time to do anything. So give yourself a bit of a break. Do 3, give yourself a pat on the back, and then set your next 3 for the following week. Hope that was helpful. Hey, just before you go, make sure you click here to subscribe, and we've got thousands of other videos all on the topic of music education and teaching. So make sure you check out some of those other ones here, and I'll see you in the next video.